You're listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with Lyndia Grant.
Well, good evening, Radio 1 listeners. Good evening, Radio 1 listeners. Thank you for tuning in to the Lyndia Grant Show. You're listening to Spirit 1340 WYCB, the oldest gospel radio station in the contemporary gospel outlet in the United States. Today is Friday, April the 8th, and we're so happy you've joined us. Both of my guests are on with me today. I'm so happy that Dr. Julian has been a little under the weather and had some travel, and she's back with us today. I want to first say hello to you, Dr. Julian. How are you?
I am wonderful. Blessed and highly favored, Lyndia, and you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. So happy. This is a day for us to celebrate, isn't it? But I'm going to leave that to you for you to talk about the Honorable Ketanji Brown Jackson. I'm so happy about her. So we'll wait and leave politics to you. And I want to say hello to my second guest that's going to be coming on the second half after our commercial break. Her name is Ms. Cynthia Spate. Cynthia, I'm so glad to have you on. She's going to be talking about a food pantry that she and her sisters and brothers started in memory of their parents. And so we're going to talk to her about MoLim. And so I want to say hello to you and welcome you. How are you today, Cynthia?
I'm doing great, and thanks for having me.
All right. We look forward to talking to you about all of that good work that you all are helping the needy out in the community. Perfect time for that with Resurrection Sunday coming up. All right, let's go to you, Dr. Julian Malvo. So glad to have you back today.
Well, good to be back with you. I miss y'all. And good to be back today of all days, as we basically celebrate Judge, still not Justice yet, but Judge Ketanji. Judge Ketanji. She
Brown Jackson.
Bringing the gifts that my ancestors. I am the dream and the hope of the slave, and still I rise. That was her speech. You don't often hear a Supreme Court justice quote Dr. Maya Angelou, nor do you often hear the word slave used, very often. She was brilliant. She was wonderful. She was generous. She took the time to thank so many people. As she said, nobody gets there by themselves. And that's something that we need to continue to hear. Nobody gets there by themselves. She used the word we a lot, and she said we made it. So to see her and Kamala standing there today in the Rose Garden, you couldn't do anything but smile. You truly could not but smile. So, the process, of course, is that as soon as Judge Breyer resigns, which will be at the end of the court term, which will be in a month or so, as soon as he resigns, she'll be appointed, and then she will be our woman. She will be our judge.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Is really, that's such great news, and it's just so exciting. So, we're celebrating with her, and celebrating all the people like Melanie Campbell and Leah Dowtry and Minion Moore and Dr. Cole and Corbett, all the people who went down to the White House, went down to the Senate,
Brazil, all of them,
and demanded that the people do the right thing. Now, so we're going to give. I'm not going to give Joe. I was going to say I was going to give Joe Biden a break, but I'm not. I will say thank you to Brother Biden for that. I will say thank you, but at the same time, so you made one promise. You honored one promise. What about student loans? I mean, that's something that disproportionately affects Black women. What about voting rights? Why aren't you doing anything about voting rights? So President Biden, we're going into a midterm election season. He needs to get on the foot if we want to keep Democrats, basically in power. And if he doesn't, he's going to have 2 years of doing nothing, and then we're going to have Trump or a Trump clone as president. None of us want that. So thank you, Brother Biden, but more. We want more better. That's all I have to say. Now,
maybe we can start a letter writing campaign, Dr. Julian. Get all the Black colleges. You and I, let's work on that.
Okay, let's. Absolutely. absolutely.
Okay.
This is a good time for our students. So, one of the things that's happening right now, we did not see Nancy Pelosi today because she has COVID. Two cabinet members also have COVID. COVID is rising again. President Biden has set aside some money. Again, Congress or the Senate has to approve it. And so we just had, it's graduation season. It's people are getting together, family reunion season, and there's COVID. Now, this piece of news, Lyndia, is funny, but please don't laugh. Well, it is funny. So these four foolish white men who plotted to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer two of them were found not guilty.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, their co-conspirators testified against them. Two of the co-conspirators pled guilty, and but the jury found them not guilty. So two of them are found not guilty. Two, the jury deadlocked on. This is the most absurd thing that I've ever heard of in my life. These people conspire. They conspire to kidnap a governor, and it's okay. I don't think so. It's almost even more. They deliberated for 4 days. 4 days. So I don't know what's so questionable about. Now, I won't say it's personal, but I was especially interested in this because the lieutenant governor of Michigan is a brother, African American man named Garland Gilchrist. Big old seven.
I met him.
Former engineer, or what they say, once an engineer, always an engineer. I heard him speak last week when I was in D.C., and he was amazing. When he talked about child care and what the state of Michigan wants to do to help women who want to be child care providers, how to help them become entrepreneurs as well. Because, so many women who are child care providers, that's just their little side business. And there are all these things you can do with insurance and other things, basically to stabilize your business. There's no better time than now to look at child care. So I was impressed with him, but I tell you, the fact that these boys got off, it really just makes me shake my head. That's all, just shake my head.
Yes, it's amazing.
Now, Will Smith can't go to the Oscars in years. And that's the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences has said that he cannot attend the Oscar ceremony for 2 years. So he's getting his comeuppance. I'm sorry about that, but, actions do have consequences, and he's having to live with those. So that just came up earlier today. And then the last thing, because I'm running on my time. We've been in Ukraine, Russia has been in Ukraine since the 24th of February. This is, as of yesterday, this was 6 weeks. When you look at the devastation and you see it, you just have to ask why. This is what you call man's inhumanity to man. That's what we often talk about among philosophers. But the question I would just leave your listeners with, and perhaps you all can talk about it at your dinner table, is what do you think? Should the United States be intervening? Should we go over there? We're sending, and I don't know the answer. I just know, I don't know the answer, but I know that what's going on is horrible. So, we can't forget about Ukraine. So we basically have to lift it up almost every time we talk because it's getting worse. It's getting worse, and
it's horrible.
And people are dying. Children are dying, and the Russians don't care. Even though these are their cousins, Russia and Ukraine, they're the same people. But anyway, that's our news. Let's put a pin in Ukraine and rejoice that we have a sister justice who's just 51 years old, so she could be on the court for another 30 years.
Amen.
That is exciting news. So that's it for this week, Lyndia.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Julia. I'm so glad you could be on and tell us what's going on today because I hadn't heard all of that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take good care.
All right, you too. You're listening to the Lyndia Grant Show here on Spirit 1340 WYCB. We are so happy that you've joined us today. Just finished with Dr. Julianne Malveaux. And now we're going to go to our commercial break. And when we return, we're going to talk to our second guest, Miss Cynthia Spate. Back in a moment.
If it wasn't for my care coach at AmeriHealth, I probably wouldn't be so healthy right now. As a man, we don't get checkups or see a doctor regularly anyways. It's probably just a man thing because none of my partners go either. We know we should, but we just don't, and hope it works out.
So what changed for you?
AmeriHealth assigned me a care coach, somebody that gives one-on-one help, answer questions, explain things, and help set my appointments. She also helped me understand what having high blood pressure really means and ways to manage it so it doesn't kill me. It ain't nothing to play with. If you're a member of AmeriHealth, ask for a care coach. I'm glad I got mine.
At AmeriHealth, if you need a care coach, you can have one. Just call us at 1-877-759-6224 to get connected. 1-877-759-6224. This program is funded in part by the government of the District of Columbia Department of Healthcare Finance. Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Washington and former religion columnist Lyndia Grant.
Who Moved My Cheese is a book about two types of people, those who accept change quickly and move on, and those who hem and haw and try to figure things out. They didn't see change coming and waste valuable time trying to figure out what happened. How did this happen to me? Let's call this group procrastinators. The lesson inside the cheese story is simple. Life is change. Brother said it best when he said, if I accept you as you are, I will make you worse. However, if I treat you as though you are what you're capable of becoming, I help you become that. We must change and keep moving. The Bible tells us to seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be open unto you, ask and it shall be given.
Read more in the religion column of the Washington Informer, an award-winning African-American newspaper. We don't report crime or gossip, just positive news. Pick up the Washington Informer or visit us online at WashingtonInformer.com. Call 202-561-4100 for more information. Washington Informer religion columnist Lyndia Grant.
Ida B. Wells, born into enslavement, was a journalist and activist. An avid reader, she read through the entire Bible many times. Wells was once asked to leave the ladies' car and sit in the colored train. She refused and train officials pushed her. Ida B. Wells retaliated but was pushed off the train at the next stop. A crowd of whites applauded. She vowed to get even. 3 of her close friends were lynched for opening businesses that cut into profits of whites. Everything changed for Wells. She spoke out internationally against lynching of blacks for the rest of her life. Through her efforts, lynching in America nearly disappeared by the time of her death. An NAACP founder, we salute Ida B. Wells for Women's History Month.
Read more in the religion column of the Washington Informer, an award-winning African-American newspaper. We don't report crime or gossip, just positive news. Pick up the Washington Informer or visit us online at WashingtonInformer.com. Call 202-561-4100 for more information.
All right. We're back. You're listening to the Lyndia Grant Show here on Spirit 1340 WYCB. Now I'm going to introduce my second guest. I'm so pleased to have her on today to talk about her nonprofit. Cynthia Spate is originally from Walstonburg, North Carolina. She earned her Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from Columbia Union College, and she got her Master's of Arts in Communications from Bowie State University. For more than 30 years, she worked for Verizon in various telecommunications positions. In 2019, Cynthia, along with her brothers and sisters, established a 501c3 nonprofit in honor of their parents' legacy. Their names, Molly and Emmett. So they put the name together and they came up with MoLem. Cynthia has a heart for serving, whether it's at work, home, church activities, sorority, or serving others in the community. Each one brings great joy to her. So I'm going to welcome you to the show again, Cynthia, and I'll start right off by having you tell us what inspired you and your family to establish. I know it was about your parents, but tell us how that idea came about and a little bit about how it all got started.
Sure. And again, Ms. Grant, thank you so much for having me. Actually, my siblings and I, we grew up in a small town in North Carolina called Greene County. And together we witnessed the work ethics of our parents. Our father was a farmer, who planted a garden with corn and potatoes and greens and peas and other vegetables and raised livestock and chickens. Our mother was a stay-at-home mom, and she was a great cook, and she always cooked delicious meals. They were very compassionate and caring individuals, and they shared their fruit of their labor and meals to those in the community that was less fortunate. As a matter of fact, before we could sit down and eat Thanksgiving dinner, we actually had to prepare and deliver meals to those in the community. And out of these experiences became a vision for my siblings and I to establish Malian Food Pantry to keep our parents' legacy alive and to opportunity to give back. So that's
Isn't
how
that
it's started.
something? Oh, my God, I love that. I think that is so beautiful.
Yes.
And just want the listeners to know her family background sounds just like mine. Same exact situation.
Yeah.
I don't even have to say the word. Yes, I don't have to. My parents were farmers, too.
Okay,
so,
great.
Okay, so tell us, you all started, and what year did you get it started?
Well, actually, in 2019, it became a 501c, but in 2020 is actually when we started serving. So since that time, dealing with COVID and all, we have probably served over 2,400 families. And
do you serve only in D.C. or other places plus D.C.?
Well, actually, we serve in D.C., PG County, and Northern Virginia as well.
Oh, good.
Yes.
And tell us about how it works.
Okay, basically how it works is that we have several partnerships, and one of our partnerships is a senior building in the Fort Washington area. So what we do is we deliver food to that particular senior community center, and the residents can actually come down and get food from the pantries if they were in a grocery store. The only thing is they don't have to pay for it. Other persons that we deliver to are persons that were actually they gave us their names and all that wanted to have food as well. So therefore, we deliver in PG County and D.C. So it's pretty much right now word of mouth, website. Persons just let us know if they're in need. And Maliam, thank God for partnerships and donations, which allow us to actually to use those funds to purchase the non-perishable food as well as other items they want. We do have a partnership with the Capital Food Bank, which allows us it allows us actually to get bulk items at a reasonable fee. And we have several other partnerships as well that allows us.
I was getting ready to ask you if you have sponsors and tell people how they could also help bless the community by making donations to you all.
Yes, we have some sponsors as well. We have Jubilee United Church of Christ in Lanham. Topolino's has been a blessing to us, which helps us with hot food. We have grocery stores like Giant Food Store and also other churches like Zachariah AME Zion Church and my church family with the Ebenezer AME Church in Fort Washington, Maryland, and family and friends. So if anyone wants to know more about Maliam, we have a website they can go on, which is www.maliam, MOLLEMM, foodpantry.org.
Oh, wonderful. And is there a phone number or just go to the website?
Actually, if you go to the website, that would give the contact information to reach us on that particular website.
All right. Tell us how to use solicit support in advertisement.
Yes. When it comes to advertising right now, it's pretty much through the website to volunteers. Sometimes persons, look at a Facebook page. But Macy is pretty much like word of mouth and, coworkers and friends. We have gotten excellent support from our family, friends, and loved ones. So that is pretty much how we're doing it right now. We want to expand eventually to actually maybe have some partnerships with shelters and more senior buildings. Yes, as well. But yes, that's pretty much how that works.
Well, for you, your background talks about you being in a sorority. What sorority are you with, if you don't mind I ask?
Yes, I'm with AKA.
Okay, well, I'm with Gamma Phi Delta, but it sounds like something we would be interested in.
Okay.
So I think I'm the chapter president, so I'm going to invite you to come to one of our Zoom meetings so we can hear more about what you all are doing. We work in Montgomery County, but since you're all over the area, I think it'll be okay.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I would love to chat with you. That sounds great.
Okay. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, you have been listening to that. I want you to give close, though, before I let you go. Cynthia, give us your closing comments, and then I'm going to do my close.
Okay, sure. Well, first of all, I want to thank you so much for having me on the show this afternoon. It has truly been a pleasure. And like I said, if anyone in need of any food, non-perishable items, feel free to reach out to Mollium, or if you want to donate, you can go to our website, www.mollium, MOLLEMM, foodpantry.org. And thank you so much.
And I like the way you say that, because I said Mollium, but you said Mollium.
Yes, my mother's name was Molly.
I like that. That's the way you connected your mom and dad's name.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Well, you know what, Cynthia? I think I've worked with you before. When I saw your picture, I said, this looks like somebody I've worked with before, I think. Didn't I?
You may have. And also, my very dear friend, I call her my sister, Miss Dolly Elliott. She and I are the best of friends. So normally when she has events at the church, I'm in attendance as well.
Okay, I know it. You look so familiar. I said, that seems like I know her from somewhere. Yeah. So maybe that's what it is.
That probably is at the church.
Thank you for coming out and visiting All Nations Baptist Church, and we thank Dottie Elliott and all the people at Verizon. I hope some of them are listening today. We thank you for coming on and talking about this wonderful project. This is such a good, outstanding project. I hope it can grow and become national.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for being on today.
Yes.
All right. You're listening to the Lyndia Grant Show. I am so happy to announce before I go off today, a friend of mine, Bill Cartwright, he asked me to announce this. Join the Core Art Society of Washington and the Combined Gospel Choirs of Washington Performing Arts as they present their treasured annual event, Living the Dream, Singing the Dream Tribute Concert on Sunday, April 10th, at 7 p.m. at the John F. Kennedy Center Concert Hall, located at 2700 Evans and Frank Street, Northwest D.C. The performance pays tribute to the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., while celebrating the power of music, collaboration, and human spirit. The program transcends race and age, gender, to unite all who honor Dr. King's ideals. During the performance, Choral Arts will also present its 2022 Humanitarian Award to visionary and cultural activist Miss Latasha Brown. For tickets, call the Kennedy Center box office at 202-467-4600. And that is going to be Sunday, April the 10th, 2022. That's this Sunday coming. I ask that you subscribe to the Lyndia Grant Show's YouTube page. And when you do, my show will automatically show up on your YouTube page. In case you miss it, you'll get a chance to hear. Read my column in the Washington Informer newspaper, The Religion Corner. This week there's an outstanding article about award-winning play about Shirley Chisholm, hosted by Len Dyson and his company, Multimedia. I also want to invite you out to join the All Nations Baptist Church family. We're located at Rhode Island Avenue in North Capitol, Northeast Washington, D.C. for our weekly worship service. You'll be in a COVID-safe environment. Join us at 10:45 a.m. and be ready for 11 o'clock. Our pastor is Reverend Dr. James Coleman. Thank you for tuning in to the Lyndia Grant Show. Next Friday, we're going to have my schoolmate back again, Len Dyson. This time he's going to be talking about his Shirley Chisholm play, but he's going to have Mrs. Johnny Rice with him. She actually worked on Shirley Chisholm's campaign when she was alive and running for president. So we're going to be excited about that show. Tune in next week. I'm going to close now. Words, thoughts, and deeds have a boomerang effect. So be careful what you send out. Scripture says, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. This week, again, in memory of my mother, I'm going to give you a type 2 diabetes message. Control your type 2 diabetes. 1, change your diet. 2, eat less carbohydrates. And 3, exercise daily. Philippians 4:6 says, think on these things, those things that are good. From the Lyndia Grant Show, I'm your host. Until next week, good day.
Thank you for listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with your host, Lyndia Grant.